Hello everyone, thank you for coming. This is a very crowded day. First question though, I want to know, when you hear gamifying surgery, what comes into your mind?
Operation.
Operation.
Malpractice.
Sorry?
Malpractice.
Doctor I don't want to see.
The doctor you don't want to see again. Okay, who else? So these are the ideas that come around. And when we say gamification, what comes around your mind? Guys, come on. You know this.
Penny.
Guilty. What do you think of gamification?
The application of like game thinking and game design in non-game contexts.
Okay. And the experience of gaming, I think all of us, some of us, had an idea about gaming. When we were a kid, what do? We play. Actually, childhood is basically playing until we get adult and we kind of feel serious and we have to pretend serious. But at the end of the day, we're still players at heart, right? However, when we put these two words, surgery, which is something that needs perfection, precision and accuracy, and a lot of seriosity, and then we put the word gamification, gamifying, isn't that a little bit terrifying that the surgeons are playing in your body? Right? This is one of the first impressions that we had from multiple people from different walks of life. Surgeons are like, are you kidding me? All these years and you're telling me I'm gonna play? That's the number one. Or the patient, am I just an object in his play world? So this was something very interesting because it strikes. And if you want to disrupt or innovate, you need to strike. So the combination was somehow radical. However, we did it because we're crazy people. So about me. As you can see in Meetup, I said human, just for fun. And I'm 24 years old. I'm a biomedical engineer and a manufacturing engineer. I applied for biomedical engineering, but it was a double degree, so I had to take the manufacturing engineering by force. So I have both of the disciplines. However, my choice is biomedical engineering. And subcategory, I love medical computing. And I'm from a hardware from the hardware side, because manufacturing, robotics, IoT, software-hardware interaction, that's where I was trained. However, I keep on leaning towards health informatics. And this is one of the reasons why I'm here in the US. Because back home, that was it. I reached my ending. I reached the engineering diploma. I'm supposed to be part of a medical factory. That's where I'm supposed to be. However, I realized that I was more about patient-generated data, gamification of patient-generated data, all of these things which required me to somehow start cramming computer science. So I had to do it. It was very difficult because for me, I had a different idea about C, because the Arduino C or embedded systems, for example, assembly language, it's very somehow logical, it's slow level language. And then I came to this high level language where I'm supposed to talk to objects. And I'm like, what objects? I see no objects. It was very difficult. OP was difficult for me to understand. But because I had to break it down, when this problem came around, it was easier for me to see the connection between OOP, surgery, and an app. Okay, what else? Any questions about who I am? Oh yeah, I'm Filipino and Moroccan. I'm biracial, as they say. Yeah, so I have lived in multiple places, 3 years in a country, which makes me kind of having an identity crisis. I don't know where I belong. So I'm a citizen of Earth, really. Yeah, so last 2 years I have traveled while working. I always wanted to be a digital nomad because deep in my heart, I wanted to travel and work. So what I did when this project came around and I knew that soon enough I'm gonna enter the academy again because I was so thirsty for knowledge, I said, it's time to travel with backpack and code my way through Asia. So that's what I did. Yeah, so this project was coding on the go. Yeah. Yes,
How did you end up in Columbia, Missouri?
Oh yeah, that's good. I was presenting my earlier undergraduate research, which was patent pending in the Philippines. I created an AI psychotherapist, and I made a problem because it's somehow like replacing psychotherapists. And that was before its time, actually. Because now I can say that Apple is going for it, but at that time it was too early. This is when you go like invention too early, it just dies. That's what happened. So it became a problem because it became business somehow with the school, because I was a student, so they wanted to co-own, they wanted to full own. they took my diploma for 6 months just to get me to sign the papers. All of that mess, I said, you know what? If my brain could do this, I just let go. I can do something else. So that was the thing, and I was in a conference in Morocco, and I was presenting my findings, blah, blah, blah. And then someone gave me a card. They said, you are doing health informatics. You need to go further. And I took that 1 year ago. And I always look at the card. Should I apply or should I not? I said I will apply to one school. If I don't get in, I keep going coding on the go. If I get in, it means I have to go back to the academy and I need to continue until there's no more degree to go for. So that was it was a very weird flux back in April, because it was like an acceptance offer, and there's this nice thing I can go and show. I was like, which one? So yeah, so that was my choice. It's my choice to be here. I chose one degree, one university, one destination. That was Colombia. Any question? Yes.
You like own or run Hackerspace or something, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry, thank you. So I co-own a hackerspace in Morocco, in Rabat, and actually it's the best co-working space by nomadlist.com. So if you go to Morocco, that's number one. We have all the amenities for a digital nomad who's a developer. So we made it a place where you can do the best optimized work on the go. And how did we do it? Because we've been there, so we know what to do. And yeah, so now it's run by my co-founders, and this is the luxury of actually being here, because I hustled for 2 years nonstop, and now I can be a student, and I can accept and respect being a student again. So it taught me a lot. Yeah. So it's up and running. It's there. If you go to Morocco, let me know. You're free. Just be there wherever you want. Okay? Yeah, free. Seriously. So let's go to some intellectual stuff. Part 1, gamification. So this is surgery. I want you to kind of think critically. When you see this picture, sorry about the resolution, but what do you see? Can you give me some parts that is kind of intriguing you? What do you see here?
Tools.
Tools, right? And what do you see here?
Screens.
Screens. And what are they doing?
Like
Yeah.
almost playing a video game.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. That's what I'm trying to drive here, because they have no idea what's behind the I have problem with that R and L. Laparoscopic insection. Okay. So when they do that, the only thing that there is a camera and navigation through a screen. So it's not really open, because the open is so 19th century already, 20th century. But now with technology, you just need to make a little hole, and from there you go to the place where tumor is, which is highlighted by other chemicals. So this is the case. So they are actually manipulating. So there's some motor skills, right? And there's some imagination, spatial intelligence, because okay, I should a little bit of degree here, so I can go in this place. And go. So when we saw that, I'm like, okay, well, hold on a second. I think we have some similarity, right? This is it. It's almost like gaming, because you need to be precise in your motor skills. How can you kill that zombie, for goodness sake? In the head, so how? So you need to be precise and accurate. So precise and accurate are not the same, and you know that very well. And timely, which is another variable you have to think about. So 3 variables. And you need to be very good at communication, because if you're the game leader, so if you are not very well at communicating your plan in killing all those zombies, what will happen? They kill each other, because they don't know which is which. And it makes the person talking to other people while doing something for a certain objective, whatever that is. So when we saw the correlation between the two. So we went further and looked into the MRIs. So the existing medical imaging is basically like this. Maybe it got a little bit sophisticated, but it's still like this, all right? It's still depending on the Laplace theorem and Fourier transform. 2 equations together to give you the contrast and the grayscale, and to see the depth of it, and how the lumps are. Is it T1, T2, T3 type of tumors? T4 is terminals, really bad. So these things are still happening. And these things are the one that give the doctor the power to decide whether to cut the whole liver or to cut a part of the liver. Because a part of the liver means that that lump will not go to other places. But the whole liver means that you really need to get it out because the tumor is too big and too dense. And how do they know? They see it. They go like, there's a lump. So they need special intelligence to even tell how far is this, right? So this is what they do. And it's really funny because they need to be playful. Because if you're not playful mentally, how could you do that? How can you decide on someone's life? Right? So this is what biomedical engineers basically do. They make equipment for MRIs, etc. Right? And so this is what I was trained. I was trained to make these equipments, to make them understand it. But I'm not supposed to know how important it is in decision support because I'm just an engineer. Okay? However, curiosity kills the cat. Oh, I'm not the cat. I should be used to it. Curiosity kills the cat because I'm like, and then I went with it further in 2013. I was obsessed with MRIs. I want to understand how it works. So it stayed in my head. And of course, I didn't use it. But then when the time came, when I need to meet the surgeons with their pain points, it came out. I was like, hold on a second, I remember. So this is something that can happen, but you need something like a prelude. So this is what I'm gonna give you like a dream, like a sci-fi dream, but without the prelude I'm gonna talk about, this is almost hard to get it on, okay? So a lot of Microsoft, Apple, techie guys, they're saying we're gonna make holographic stuff, holographic games, etc. How about holographic medical imaging, right? This could be even possible because the same technology that we have, we can actually make a body, right? However, if you don't know how the behavior, the thinking process of the surgeons, you have this, then what? Do you see? So for me, for us basically, I should say partners, for us, I knew this is gonna come sooner or later. But then the data to upload, to help this to know what it has to do, then that's the most important part. That's something that is intriguing enough. Because you need the surgeons to cooperate, and that's the hardest thing. If a primary care doctor does not want to help you in EHR, imagine a surgeon want to help you in this stuff. You see? So a lot of, as engineers, you know this, we can build products, but no one wants to use them. And that's the saddest part. Because sometimes we're ahead of our time. Okay? Or entirely in different world. So I told them, let's go minimum viable product. Let's go basic. Yes, we can dream as much as we want. Yes, execution is beautiful. But let's do one step at a time. And I told them, bring it down. Bring it down to what you do usually. So what do they do usually? Is that they take a paper. Can I have this, please? Thank you. Can I have your pen? So you're the patient, and you're, let's say, you're the family, because I don't want to give you the bad vibes, so you're the family member of someone who has tumor, progressive tumor, okay, in their pancreas, okay? And I'm telling you, being a doctor, and you're someone, for example, who's illiterate, in a sense, not medically illiterate, and I go like, oh, you know, there is this stomach, and there's do you understand me? Okay, you pay 50,000, blah, 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 do you agree? Sign. When you see the scribbles, you're going to be ashamed and you'll say, yes, I agree because I love my family member. But then do you know what exactly will happen? They're going to cut half of it and then they will connect an intestine to it. Do you understand what it is? Can you see it? Because that's how, if they write like this, what do you expect out of sketch? if this is how they write, right? So this is something that they do, not only back in Morocco or in Philippines. This is what they do, okay? So they have, sorry about this one, yes. So they go like this and explain that they will take us intestine from here and they put it up and then again because you lost your stomach, etc. So these are gastrointestinal surgery procedures. However, there's a problem with the patient communication. So they make a consent about something they don't understand. So if sometimes loss happens, right? You didn't tell me that. No, I told you, but in my own language, medical language. Number one. Number two, insurance problems. They want to negotiate that there was an error rate, but you can't even prove that there was an error rate because that was supposed to be done. However, the patient has another story, and the surgeon has another story, and the insurer is trying to find a middle way. Mess, right? Third, you're a professor of surgery, and you need to teach something very spatial, something that turns around a colon, go up. What you're gonna do? You're gonna become Picasso? You're a surgeon. You're not Picasso. But this is the reality. You have to be very good. Why the additional pain point? And at the end, sir, I didn't understand. Repeat. See? That's third, communication. The fourth, surgeon 1 to surgeon 2. I'm gonna cut this part and you're gonna cut this part. But the truth is, it's gonna cut this part and turn it in a certain XY axis, and then what happens? Error. Error of communication. Why? I'm in a rush, you're in a rush. I don't need to give you the basics. You have to get me. So the solution, the problem came like that last year. I told them, graphics speak 1,000 words. You don't need to say 1,000 words. All you have to do is show what you have to do. So that's the idea. Very simple, yet very complex. Because how can you infiltrate the system by a tool? Because it's a tool, it's an instrument. It's not just a feature, product, it's a tool, like any tool that you see in operation room. Sorry. So yeah, me.
I think you're in space, so it might jump down.
Huh?
I think.
Hmm? Oh, you don't see it well? So I have spoken about this. So the care coordinator, of course, who is gonna clean the mess, right? If the care coordinator doesn't know which thing is supposed to be thrown to pathology box and which things should be put, like really extracted, because it will affect other things. If that basic communication is not given, you have already an error rate, and that error becomes loss of monetary loss, licensure loss, perfectionism loss, because you're first surgeon, you have errors. Goodness, I'm not going to be your patient ever again. You see? So, honorable mention. It was because we are in the MENA region, we have been mentioned in Business Buzz, WAMDA. This is a French, innovation lab, and here in Silicon Valley, I don't know how they did find us, but they did. So Margaret Colangelo Ventures also mentioned. And if you want to know, just write Sutures Up and whatever the name, and you can read more about the product itself. Okay? So healthcare partners. For me, I believe that you need partners to do anything. So I was the tech person in the story. However, you cannot do it without the surgeons themselves, all right? So this is the local hospital that we worked with. It's Avicenna Hospital. This is the association that we worked with. They handle the national surgeons of gastrointestinal surgery. And this is the advisory board from Université Paris du Sud. So French was also part of this. We needed to have the network, because being a techie without the subject matter expertise, nothing. What are we gonna code? We don't know the logical rules of how intestines work, which part you should cut and which part should not be cut at all, or else hemorrhagie, all of these things. So yeah, we're like, okay, yeah, we know how to code, we're good at design, then what? Then what? So we needed them. Every day, we learned surgery because we had to see cases, as many cases as possible. Okay?
So,
yes?
how did you know who to partner with? How did you go, oh, A, B, C, I need to partner with these people?
Oh.
How did you do that?
Okay. Remember I told you I had the hackerspace?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that was my life, basically. Right? What do we do in hackerspace? Hack. Not unethically, but hack. We have a lot of training workshops. It's a co-working space, so you know how the community is. So when you're a community, you attract deaf people, design people, progressive hearts that are deep in very resistant domains, aka medicine. Okay? So they start to come around because they're like, hey, this is something interesting. Let's know more about mHealth. let's know more about telehealth. Then they realize their own pain point, because now they know that biomedical engineering can solve, it is the thing that will solve their problems. Why are we there anyways, right? So that ignited some, how can I say, aspiration, let's just say, because they realized that their time is valuable, their cognitive task is valuable. You need to be good. You need to be very good, actually, excellent. So if technology can be something that will, like an assistive technology, basically, in the medical practice that is yours, why wouldn't you give it a thought? If you are someone who's one of the high ranks in surgery, and you know the value of not to repeat yourself, right? So they knew that, and that's the beauty of it. Value attracts value. So first build value, and the value will come to you. If you're mediocre comes to you. So that's what we did. We focused on value. So when they came, they just came. And that's the beauty of it. They just knocked the door, you see? Literally, they just came, hey, we have a problem. And they just went to the whiteboard like, intestines, do you get it? I'm like, I studied anatomy, sir. I'm biomedical engineer. Like, oh my God, you understand better my students. I'm like, wow, thank you. It happened, you know? They gave me a test. They made a very complex case where usually this part is rotated and brought from backward from upward. So because a lot of parts of the body is already cut. And they were like, so what is wrong here? I was like, the appendix is up in the throat. That's not possible. You cannot have an appendix here. So they're like, yes, we're gonna work with it. I swear that was the case. I was like, there is an appendix in the throat. It's in the esophagus. Oh, that was weird. That was a glitch in my head. I glitch a lot, by the way. So that was late, sir. Compiling error. So there was an appendix. I was like, sir, this is not possible. You cannot have that thing here. So it needs to be cut and sutured before you can connect that. And you cannot put the colon up in the esophagus. It's gonna sting. It's not possible. They're like, okay, we trust. Okay, we're good. You're good. You got it. That was just logic, man. They were really surprised. What? Goodness. So I just had this news today, by the way. Okay, so Sutures app is nominated as the best Moroccan health app by World Summit Award. Just today, I got the email. And this is the WSA Young Innovators. I think they used my name into this. I didn't know that. So it's okay, no problem. And it was nominated also, and it's gonna be presented in Graz, Austria, in November 29 to December 2. I won't be there, sadly, but it's okay. I'm happy that, ripple effects, some good work from some year will appear one way or another, as long as you didn't cheat. That's good. Yeah, really. Cheating, forget about that. So yeah, so it had this, and I'm very happy for this because it's already entering the European market, which means that once it is complied, it's understood and used. It's actually used in Europe, but now it's going to be stamped upon, which is different. To be stamped upon by multiple hospitals, now we're talking. It means it's becoming a tool. Soon enough, it needs some HIPAA compliance and all that. But then since it does not have a direct effect on the patient, we can say it can stay on educational too. Okay. Cool. I'm asthmatic, so speaking a lot hurts me somehow. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's go back to gamified experience. So who can tell me the difference between gaming and gamification? Please. Please start. No, really?
Really?
Yeah. What's the difference between gaming and gamification? Yes. Sure.
It's turning a real activity into a game. It's gamification. In a game, you're just manipulating an arbitrary universe. You're not dealing with something that's got I'm not sure, a correlation to the real world, or is you're trying to represent an aspect of the world of gamification.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. You got it?
I'm not quite sure I have quite
Yes, I will just add some cream on that, okay? So, gaming is a storyline. You have characters, you have world, you got some serious objective. You need to kill someone. Usually, most of the time, you need to eradicate a certain bad thing, right? You have to end with a reward or with game over. Repeat yourself. It's a loop. You're in a loop. When you code game, you are by default starting and ending a loop. There's a looping going on, the storyline. Gamifying is much more of getting something serious and give it that hint of gaming, but it's not a game at all. You're in there, that sweet spot where you can actually be playful, but at the same time you can showcase this in a meeting or whatsoever. Do you see? It's much lighter because you're not having a character called Dr. Z and he needs to operate in 5 seconds. You know, that's a game. If you go to Android and you write surgery game, all you have are games. It's like operation, there is this weird thing coming out. Okay, come on, the time's going. Oh, 5 points, that's a game. But Gamify is something that is in the real world happening, and then you kind of animate it or make it playful. And then they enjoy that same activity, but in another because there's no more stress and there's more excitement. So that switch, same heartbeat, but not the same attitude. It's very, very difficult to reach, and with surgeons it was even more difficult because they're mostly serious. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I do like the emphasis that's been made in the gamification community, where the gaming, it's enjoyable for its own sake. The gamification part, it supports a business objective.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Yes, exactly.
And then Yukai Chow.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy, Octalysis guy. Yeah, I love how he calls it human-focused design.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's the thing. It has an objective which is business or practice. Yeah. Just another word, but basically work, research, whatever you want. But it has that switch between stress to excitement. So the gaming is basically let go of this real world, enter the virtual world. The other one is, I know I'm in the real world, but I am using this thing that makes me feel good actually, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do anyways. So I had a long time to explain this to surgeons. Long time. I'm like, Gamify, they're like, you want me to play a game? I'm 45, what the So it's like, no, this is what I mean. So you know this. This could be gamified experience or gaming experience, which is the rubrics. So you need mechanics, you need rules. Even though it's gamified, but it cannot be anything and everywhere. You need rules. You cannot put the appendix in the esophagus. It's weird. It's not possible. It's surgically wrong. Therefore, the app or the game, let's go the gamified thing, should not allow that to happen. Should not. Measurement, performance and quality. So how well did that environment, did that world that you made, that virtual world, is performing with the interaction with the user? So when I want to suture, am I suturing? Or the intestine is going everywhere? Because that's low performance. And if I'm a surgeon, I don't want an intestine that's going everywhere. I want to do the case because I have, 100 people in my lecture, and I'm doing a demo live, okay? So you need to know what it means by quality. Maybe for us, technically, it does not crash, yay. But it's totally wrong, no. You see? So business logic is the thing that will tell us what is quality and what is not. So quality in surgery means, did I do it precisely? Is this what's supposed to do? Who will tell you that? The surgeons. Us, we have no idea. Because for us, it's suturing, we're good. Okay, let's go. It's not crashing, okay, good. There's no errors, okay, we're fine. Let's move on. No, it's not possible. So reward, user recognition. It could be as simple as voice, that it got sutured. That's a reward already. You sutured impossible case. That's already a reward. Or it could be, I don't know, the possibility of a feature just appearing after you've done X number of cases. You can share to your network. Whoa, that's a reward. I can share my stuff. That's already a reward because it comes after engagement, right? Any behavior reflects and engagement. Some of the surgeons that we have tested with, beta testing, you need alpha, beta, please. You need that from early on. They were doing like this. They were expecting the intestine to know that it has to go that way. I'm like, no, no. I told him, when you are suturing, when you're really transforming the intestine from X1, Y1 to X2, Y2, do you just tap on it and it just follows where you want to go? They're like, no, we need to grab it like this. I'm like, so grab that one. It's the same. Because it is supposed to be mimicking the real anatomy. You cannot go wrong with anatomy. You cannot just make a different being. Okay? Our intestine cannot just know that this X2 just jumps to it. No, it doesn't. So these things, sometimes it's a high learning curve. Sometimes they think it's Facebook. So they will do things that are embedded in their head. That's what they do. That's what we do. We just keep on tapping everything, and something must happen. It happens. Or the reflex, when they see something moving, they're like, oh, and they just look for an exit. So, oh, interesting. Every reflex of yours is noted, sir. Why? Because if we see it a lot, we need to do something about that. So, you know this, technically speaking. At the heart of it, you need game logic, right? So who knows some of the frameworks out there for games?
For games?
Unity.
Unity, right? People know Unity. So what makes Unity, what are the pros and cons of Unity? Yeah, anyone?
Modern space.
It's the fact that it's almost given to you, all of it. You just kind of make your own objects in that, and that's it. You cannot truly create something out of it. If you notice the Unity games, they're almost the same. It's either they're gonna go in a train, so we're talking in something forward, so the view changes in a forward, or we are like a Clash of Clans, the awkward, triangular, weird palace, right? And then our people are moving here. You see, remember this?
The mechanics you're saying are the same between the games most?
Yes, if you truly look at it, you can see that it's not as creative because the framework itself does not allow you to go that creative. So instead of having a framework, you need a library. As a library, it's a half dinosaur. You have to build the next part, just like there. I'm here, but you need to build something more. Unity is a baby dinosaur, and you just need to raise it up. It has everything. You cannot truly be innovative. And we knew that we cannot do it in Unity. Yeah, sure. So, which chose this? Do you know it, guys? JDX. This is a miracle in disguise. It's open source. It's mostly in Java, and it's very smooth with Android. And under Live JDX, you got Box 2D. Why not Box 3D, for example? Why not 3D intestines? Because that's going to be overwhelming for the first-timers who are surgeons who have not used, sometimes even EHRs, okay? And you want them to go 3D? Start slow, 2D first. Get them used to the animation, like cartoons. Get them, because they're mostly in their 40s, 30s, the 50s, 60s, forget about them. They're not gonna adopt, okay? Forget that. We're talking about those mid-age surgeons who wanna be the best in their field, okay? So these guys are mid-70s, 80s guys who know console. They have played some console. They know 2D. Yeah, and you have to, when you do something this serious, because it's their job, if they show the wrong thing, they're gonna sue whoever did it, and I will be the one that's gonna go to the jail, the first one, okay? So I have to be careful, yeah. So I told them, like, oh, who are we talking about? And then I was like, hold on a second, these guys played console. They know Pac-Man. They played Pac-Man, so they know 2D. If we can bring back the player in them, the inner child player with 2D, they're gonna comply. And when they got used to it, when the new guys and millennials with the 3D Ragnarok, let's bring the 3D, you see? It's psychology, because if we bring the good stuff, of course, engineers, we want to do the best thing. I would love to do some 3D stuff. That's gonna look good in my resume, as they say. However, it's not usable. Why? It's 3D, it's blood, and then there's weird stuff. No, you're like, no, what is this? It's moving, I know. You know, yeah, because it has to, right? You're trying to mimic. So 2D, cute and stuff, but precise in its anatomy. precise. Why? Because we had to get it certified by multiple surgeons. Is this okay for you? Not too simple, not too complex. Somewhere that the user interface makes sense. So it had a long time in design before coding, long time. So Back2D is basically the subcategory for LiveGDX to allow you to create and draw physical objects. So what is the, let's go back to engineering 101. Physics. Physics is something we have to know. If not in its essence, at least some basics of it, right? Physics. So if you truly look at your hands, at your body, you are made of simple objects, right? Artists are very good at this because before they will portray you, they will do, see, your category, right? All of that. Same thing with our bodies. Little objects put together, working on a physical phenomenon, reacting to whatever we do. So when you go back to that, you're like, oh my God, it's physics, it's Back2D, it's LiveGDX. It can be done in an app. It's possible. It's technically possible. Because what is the impossible? Is if it doesn't have a shape, then you will need to have deformable bodies. And how many customizable deformable bodies can you make, right? And that's where AI comes in. Let that in. But for now, we're still finite because we have somehow collisions, right? We have livers that all look the same, different shapes by genetics, but there is a standard. So we took that. This part is called biomimicry, okay? And the algorithms here is what was the Bible, basically, because for games, two cars collide, kaboom, right? But in kaboom came from where? Where would that event was driven by what? It was driven by this, because it knew that it was colliding with another object. So objects are in the programming, right? But what are you telling A and B? You see? So this is a game because you're playing. So things like this, okay? This is just the algorithm just to help out understand how it goes. So with collisions, you know this. We have to study that. So you have the mass body here. You need an anchor for everything, of course. So got that. Oh, they collide. Okay, it's sutured. Oh, okay, we're together. No, really, they're married. Okay, we're together. Why? It's because that part and this part are colliding. Therefore, da. You see, TL is equal to da. Okay. So we had to go back to math. We had to go back to physics. And whoever cheated that way cried. Just because it reminded us how beautiful engineering is. It makes us understand bio like that. See, for example, if you look at this, this is like a worm, right? Right? How about you cut it even further? What will happen? Smoother, right? Remember the science, the analog wave, digital and analog? Now let's get this even smaller. What will happen? You got a rope. So beautiful. And our intestines are what? Are ropes. You see? Ropes. They're eloquent. Why? Because this thing is very small. And their point of anchor is very tight. And if you just like this, it's already moving. So it moves perfectly. Yeah? Like an AC and DC. That's exactly how it goes here. AC and DC. If you have AC, it's so beautiful. DC just you know, something like that. So this is the anchor. Once you have the lead position, kaboom, sutures happen. You suture. So hold on before I say thank you. Yeah, so you can contact me around here. And I have a demo by surgeons who did it, okay? Demo time. For me to show you. I'm not the one who did it because surgeons have to show how it goes. This is the end of it. For me, this is the end of it. I have understood what you're trying to tell me, and I break it down to physics, maths, and complete craziness. The next, the knowledge generation, the wisdom behind it, it's up to you. And there must always be a very good line of friendship right there. So once they want to create knowledge, I'm like, hands off, and let me learn, because I didn't know. And it's beautiful to see something that was just an idea, and you helped by any way. And now it's used by 1,200 surgeons, not whomever, surgeons used, and it's still MVP, and there's like, you see, that's beautiful. It means that they knew the power of it. So let me go here. I think it's in French. Please don't mind us.
Oh, do you need to switch that over?
Yeah, I just want to show some.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, Comcast. Okay. Thank you. So we had a lot of challenges. One of the challenges that you guys are young. That was difficult. That was difficult, really. You guys are so young. I'm like, is age something that we have to, discuss here? Do you want the app or not? Do you want the app? I'm like, okay. So, yeah, I'm being blackmailed. So navigation tools. Let me see. I'm trying to find something that is. So yeah, this is the guy, one of the advisors for them. He's another advisor. So Belgium.
We can't actually see what you're seeing on the screen.
Oh yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me put the Chromecast from the YouTube.
There it goes.
Oh, okay, let me repeat. Ready, right? Innovation Hub or Visio? Visio. Or
Ready Innovation Hub is the name of the. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
It's back to YouTube. Super's tutorial.
Navigation. French.
Navigation.
Navigation. Yeah. French.
Lorsque vous lancez sur Twitter, comme l'écran est une représentation
Yeah, I know. There
de
is
l'anatomie
French
du
in all
système
that.
digestif. Comme vous le voyez,
Yeah.
situé
Yeah, there's.
So that's our body is actually in a layer that's like covered. Yeah?
Si vous souhaitez centrer sur une zone spécifique ou sur un organe,
Sounds good
vous
actually.
pouvez pincer pour effectuer un zoom avant ou un zoom arrière en
Price goes
utilisant
up when you talk about it.
par exemple, je
Oh.
vous alors je fais un zoom avant pour le placer au centre de l'écran. Maintenant, je fais un
So
zoom
what is
avant
that?
pour montrer tous les
That's the
organes.
liver.
That's the liver.
Yeah.
Les intestins ont été programmés afin qu'ils puissent imiter
Oh my God,
le
it sounds
comportement
good.
de la vie réelle. Quand dans un champ opératoire, l'intestin grêle est mobile. Si vous touchez une partie de l'intestin grêle, vous pouvez la déplacer en la faisant glisser vers la zone souris.
As eloquent as
Les
possible.
mêmes règles
Yeah.
s'appliquent au côlon.
So it has the
Mais comme
physical
vous le
reaction
remarquez, vous ne
when
pouvez
you
pas
touch
déplacer
it.
le côlon librement comme vous le faites pour l'intestin grêle. Veuillez noter ces
Like
deux
the body.
petites lignes
Do this,
vertes
moves like
reliant
that,
le
because it's
côlon à la
slippery.
paroi abdominale.
A lot of
Ces
phlegm in
lignes
there.
permettent de reproduire les angles hépatiques et
Yeah.
sphinctériques. Ils ne sont pas mobiles et vous devez couper les lignes vertes.
And these are
pour
not
déplacer
mobile
le
because
côlon
there is actually
Il
something that
existe
holds
d'autres
them.
lignes
Because if
vertes
it doesn't hold them, then
similaires
things
entre
will
le foie et
smash
la
if we go to a roller coaster.
La rate
If you
et
think
la
about it, why my things did not
L'estomac.
turn all over? Because there's some things that
et
hold
le
like clips.
pancréas et la rate.
There are clips
Ils
here.
sont là pour aider à reproduire la logique de la chirurgie
I
dans
didn't know that.
l'application.
Learn to step.
Nous en parlerons plus dans les futurs tutoriels. Au bas de l'écran, il existe 5 boutons représentant des
Yeah.
outils qui vous aideront à
outils
simuler
mean
les
the
procédures
tools.
chirurgicales. Ainsi, de gauche à droite, vous avez l'outil Cut, c'est-à-dire couper, qui sert évidemment à couper les organes. L'outil Close, fermer,
So
pour
I told
fermer les
them,
organes précédemment
the first
coupés.
question I said,
Et
what
l'outil
you guys do
Connect.
mostly in operation anyway? They're like, no, a lot of medical words. I said, hold on a second. What is the thing that you have when you want to do something? They're like, we either cut, and then we either close fully, or we either connect, suture the non-harmful with the non-harmful. I said, there we go. Those are our functions. We got 3 methods. That's it. 3 classes. That's all we're talking about. Because they were saying, no, hepatic. No, really, I'm serious. It was so complex. But I said, let's boil it down, folks. What do you do with the intestine when there's a tumor? So that was the case. Told them 3 things. That's it. So that it can be feasible. Because if we keep go with the
connecter pour
complexity,
créer des anastomies.
it won't be done ever.
À droite, vous avez deux autres boutons. Le bouton Add Tumor, ajouter tumeur ou lésion, qui va vous permettre d'ajouter une représentation graphique de la maladie sur le système digestif.
Yeah.
Et le bouton Pathology Box,
Yes.
qui permet de retirer les pièces
In
résiduelles.
coding, that's the trash box.
En haut de l'écran, il y a deux autres
That's
boutons
where
qui
we
sont
put things.
actuellement inactifs. Ce sont des
Yeah,
fonctionnalités
but it
techniques
should be
sur lesquelles
pathology
nous
because,
travaillons
you know,
et qui seront
you
bientôt
myself.
disponibles. Dans le prochain tutoriel, je vais vous montrer comment utiliser les outils pour reproduire
Yeah,
les
that's
procédures
very
chirurgicales. Merci pour
I
votre
don't think
attention.
you'd want to recycle.
Yeah, we don't tell you, but in the code is trash bottle. You know the trash right there, which means that it is disclosed in a different dimension altogether. But we had to say no. So this is basically it. Any questions, guys? Yeah, you can download the MVP, by the way. It's in Android. You just write sutures. What else? Sutures. That's it. They just write sutures. You'll find some weird stuff. Just forget about them.
Yeah.
You'll find
Play
some
Store?
sutures. Huh?
On Play Store?
Yes, Play Store.
Oh, okay.
We put in Play Store first, of course. Technically speaking, it's Java based, so we kind of use Under Studio, so we can be actually good, not good, but timely in deployment. Nice to have good things, but in reality, you want to end the project. Okay, end the project on time because I gotta go to Colombia, guys. So no, really, I am in a new chapter in my life. I'm not gonna do this forever. So let's end this. So you have to always have that in mind. End the project in a high note, or else all of what you've done is zilch, nada. Okay. So what is it? I said to myself, hold on a second. iOS kind of is very, very hard to enter just like that, especially in a medical app, because it's a medical app, it's a medical education app, but it's still a tool. So going to iOS means that we have to first have a bridge between the Java language and the library and then put it into the Swift. So we have RoboFVM to get that, that's first. Second of all, you will need the Apple guy to call you in Morocco to explain every part of the code and why is it there. Third, you need maybe some FDA approval before even knowing if it is worth it. See? So if you want to go to beta testing, for anything that you think is disruptive, go alpha first, get the surgeons or get the doctors, get the users with you along the way from the beginning, okay? That's first. Second of all, communication. Whatever you're doing, every single thing, screenshot, send to the alpha testers. Hey guys, is this okay with you? Come to the office, let's talk about it. Before we end up diving those beautiful nights with caffeine and then it's really, our time, we're not getting younger, so we have to be precise with that. Sometimes just a simple communication. So that's second. Third, your soft launch, beta test, so that in Play Store is, this app might be unstable. Why? So that if there's a crash, not everybody's gonna, go to your feedback, it sucks. No, wait, hold on. We're just starting, okay? So before you tell me it sucks and kill the whole innovation, let's put it first in a very low key. It's beta testing, it's still in ongoing app development, might be unstable. And that's the truth. It was unstable. Why? There was one error handling exception. It wasn't there. And then they crashed. And then finally, after that, tens of thousands of code, and just there. That was the reason of all this mess. You know what semicolon agony? Same thing. So before that happens, get it into beta testing. Third, get it into as many hands as possible. Thick skin, get it out. How do you find this? Especially the ones who like to use it. And fourth, have fun. I think something like this, engineers, guys, where we have gold in our hands. We can build stuff. We just don't talk about it. We walk the talk. So have pride and get to work, really. No matter what age, no matter what location. Don't forget, I was in Northwest Africa. That's supposed to be somewhere nothing happens, but hey, something happened. Why? Because the world is digitalized and open source is there. All you need is a little bit of brain power together and some grit and get it done. So that's it.